Well, it's 2 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and call to order the July 25th, 2019 meeting of the RSW Regional Jail Authority Board of Directors. We do have a new face in here, so if we start with Sheriff with you, we'll do introductions.
Sure. Tim Carter, Shenandoah County.
Doug Stanley, Warren County.
Kevin Bass, Shenandoah. Gary Curry, Rappahannock County.
Conrad Helsley, Shenandoah County.
Dan Murray, Warren County.
Mary O'Connor, Administrative Assistant, RSW.
Steve Weaver, Deputy Superintendent, RSW.
Russ Gilkison, Superintendent, RSW.
Brendan Hefty with Hefty, Wiley & Gore, Legal Counsel.
Melissa Tokay, Northern Virginia Daily.
Bob Childers, Warren County.
Welcome, Bob.
Mark Williams, Rural Examiner.
All right, well, thank you, everybody. Next item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda.
I move for approval.
Second.
For adoption.
Motion by Mr. Hensley, second by Mr. Murray. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Item 3 is adoption of minutes. I will note, thank you, Mary, for sending out the notice. We had a little change on the dates that we're approving minutes from the May 23rd meeting, and in those minutes is the approval of the March 28th minutes, just because those two dates are switched. So with that change, unless there are any other changes, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
Please show me some abstaining those in here.
One abstention. Item 4 is public comments. Public comments are limited to issues that are not the subject of a public hearing. Intended as an opportunity for the public to give input on relevant issues and not intended as a question and answer period. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to address the board? Hearing none. Item 5, comments from board members. I just want to say, Russ, thanks again for staff. I love seeing the pictures of our work release inmates and your staff out in the 3 communities performing public service and improving our facilities. It's good to see.
Absolutely.
Legal counsel.
I don't have anything.
Superintendent's report. Russ.
Average daily population breakdown, Rappahannock with 23 at 6.9%, Shenandoah County with 136 at 41%, Warren County with 173 at 52.1%. Total member jurisdiction ADP is 332. We have 1 contract bed with Prince William County. We have 76 with Page County and 93 with Culpeper. Bringing the total facility ADP to 502. Vacancies were 30 officer vacancies. This does include our 8 positions held for savings and 2 medical vacancies. Kind of an update to that. We did interview another nurse this morning, looks promising, so hopefully one of those medical vacancies is going to be filled here shortly. As far as the officer vacancies, we just started a new starting salary at the beginning of the month, being advertised and actually being able to hire people under that. So we have seen a slight increase in applications. Some of the applicants didn't rise to the level for an interview, but we're continuing to look at those, and hopefully we can get these vacancies filled as quickly as possible. Facility grounds and maintenance, I didn't have anything on the agenda, but I did want to provide an update. One of the things that was approved for this year's budget was to look at having the parking lot cracks filled and sealed and restriped. I've received 1 quote back from that, and I'm trying to obtain some others, and hopefully we'll be getting that done before before bad weather gets here for the winter. Recruitment and retention, we have 2 officers and 1 medical applicant in background, and then MA programs and services. Again, the workforce has been providing different labor to the 3 jurisdictions all this month and previous month, as far as working at the schools or parks or soccerplex or wherever the requests are. We've been trying to get there and take care of this as quickly as possible. So if there's any future needs or requests, please let us know, and we'll make sure it's scheduled and try to get it accomplished. And that's all I have.
Any questions for Russ?
Yeah, I have one. Russ, this picture what's that picture over there? Are we handcuffing that kid?
I'm not sure because I wasn't there, so I can't tell.
Steve,
were you
I just
there?
hope we're not hanging.
I was there, but I wasn't when they were doing this.
I mean, they're not showing them put handcuffs on them.
I don't know. I wasn't there that day. I could find out, but I don't know.
I wouldn't,
I agree with you.
if that's what they're doing.
Sure.
Here's me, that's what they're doing. I wouldn't be handcuffing kids, okay? I just had one question about the vacancy sheet.
Yes, sir.
How many total, like, I see the 30, you mentioned the 2 and then the 8. What's your staff, what's the number it's supposed to be, that's full? I mean, what to compare that to?
Sworn and civilian,
Well,
or
I guess is this including sworn incidents, these numbers?
this chart is specifically for the
Sworn?
sworn, yes, sir, which is 125 is what we're approved for. Total staff is 149.
So if you took 30 off the 125, we're at approximately 95 sworn.
So the contract beds, as shown, is that all the bed space these localities want, or that's what we've accepted and there's more demand than what's shown?
Currently, as they're requesting, if we have space, we're providing it to them. We have had some discussion with Culpeper to possibly provide them 100 beds. We've submitted a proposal to them, which they're reviewing. We should have an answer hopefully around August the 6th. They're looking at 100 beds is what they would like to have.
What's our population, what is the average daily population? I mean, I guess I'm trying to sit here and figure out, so you got 76% of the staff that you're supposed to have to run this place. Where are you at with inmates?
What we can hold is 560, so I have one housing unit that's completely empty,
What's that?
a 60-bed unit.
Okay. And we're gonna bring in more people, more inmates with this contract.
It would, well, their current, Culpeper's currently sitting at 93, so it'd be 7 more. It's not an addition to the 93. They're just asking for 100.
That's what I'm asking. I guess, and I haven't had time to sit down and take a look at it, but I guess if I'm right about this, I don't know if I'm right about it. I mean, I don't even know. So you're at 90% capacity, but you're operating with 76% staff, and you're bringing more people in. That's a good thing? I'm just asking.
Kind of following the direction I thought I was given by the board to try to rent bed space. That's what I was trying to accomplish.
Right, I got you. I'm with you.
And we're trying to, I do operate with mandatory overtime. It's usually 1 to 2 a shift.
Right.
To accomplish what we need to accomplish.
Well, I guess the board should know that basically what he's saying is he's at 90% capacity of inmates. He's operating with 3/4 of the amount of people he's supposed to have. So, in other words, he's got less people than he's supposed to have to run the place for the amount of inmates he has, in my opinion.
Is there an industry standard for number of inmates versus number of correctional officers?
There is when you build the facility.
Mm-hmm. Right. And that, it was the staff that was approved, all our positions are comp board approved. That was 149, and the breakdown was 125 sworn, and the rest were the civilian support positions. So,
I mean, I'm not saying anything, I'm not trying to be critical, and I'm not saying anybody's doing anything wrong. I guess I'm just pointing out an observation I had. That's it.
Again, I'm just trying to follow the direction to build revenue to help offset tax dollars.
Right.
I'm not trying to operate unsafely. I don't think I'm operating unsafely.
I don't think you are. I guess the board needs to understand that the more inmates you put in here, and if you're operating with these staffing shortages, the more risk you put the staff at. So
I guess those are the reasons why we as a board have authorized the pay increase to try to help chew away at the vacancies.
Mm-hmm. And it didn't look like the pay increase had helped any from the last year. The pay increase went up. The pay vacancies went up. We did this last year, and we had more vacancies than last year. So I don't think that really helped.
Which is one of the reasons why I asked if we could see this trend as we move through time, so we can maybe correlate.
Because you had a month May was when you finally started advertising the salary, or offering the salary.
Actually,
When
we,
is-
did- we, July 1, we didn't offer, or,
25 days of it.
Okay,
right.
so,
But hopefully see some stop loss as far as people transitioning out.
I guess my, I know how it is in here. I'm like I'm the black sheep of this board. I get that, and I'm okay with that. My point is, if you keep requiring him to bring in more inmates and his staffing levels stay stagnant as they are, you are putting the staff at jeopardy by bringing more inmates in at the level of staff that you have. That's the observation. It's neither here nor there whether anybody's done anything. I'm not trying to be critical, I'm just pointing it out. Thanks.
I'd say this is about as high as you want to go currently until we do see a reduction in the vacancies. Is that pretty much what we're hearing?
I mean, I wouldn't want to open that other unit, absolutely not. So that's where I'm at, I wouldn't open that other unit unless we see an increase in staffing. I've done everything I could to try to make the facility as efficient as I can as far as how we house inmates. We're trying to make sure we're keeping as many as we possibly can on work release or force to keep them out of general population. The open dormitories that were built, we utilize those to house all our females. 99% of the time, most of our females are minimum custody. They're not, a danger to, other staff members. They're usually not violent. So that's why we house them there. So, I've done everything I can trying to maximize it, trying to make sure, I am bringing in revenue as the board has asked me to do. Anytime if we want to look at a different direction, I can do that. Any of these agreements that have written, they all have clauses in them that if we don't have the staff or the ability to hold it, we can turn them away.
Right.
So, I work at the pleasure of everyone sitting at that side of the table.
I'm all for bringing in money that's not taxpayer dollars from somewhere else. I'm fine with that. I guess but there does come a breaking point.
Yeah.
So.
And I do meet with staff very regularly, and I get their opinion. I meet with line staff, I have officer meetings, I have middle management meetings, and I ask their opinion. I want to know, do you guys feel like we're taking on too much? And I ask those things, and because I've been there myself. I do respect how they feel, and I know.
What mandatory overtime? How much is that? How much are you doing in that?
Typically about 1 or 2 a shift is typically what it's being scheduled at. Of course, if we have somebody goes to the hospital, it's unexpectedly, we have to increase, but typically it's 1 or 2.
Right.
How about we make sure to put this item on the next agenda in 2 months just to revisit and see kind of where things stand with the ratio of staff to.
Yeah, and I don't think you should have the mandatory overtime. I personally don't think you should be doing. He should have enough staff to where he doesn't have to require someone to come in for an entire shift and work over.
Do you have a specific number of people you have on a shift?
Optimum would be 15. That's where we'd like to be with the numbers that we have, with the number of housing units we have open. We'd like to be at 15. If we had less inmates, then of course we'd potentially close housing units, and then we would require less staff. So it really depends on the population as to what the staffing level is that's needed at that time.
I think this boils down to what you two are comfortable with, more than anything else. And if you feel like don't have enough staff, then you need to cut those numbers. But it's what you all are comfortable with. You work with them every day.
Sure. I think what you're bringing up is definitely valid.
See, I disagree with that. I don't think it's what you're comfortable with. I think it's safe for the staff, Conrad. Okay, I'm interested in seeing how these news articles are going to be written tomorrow. The sheriff's not asking for additional staff. He's basically pointing out that you have a facility that's operating at 90% capacity of inmates, and we keep bringing additional inmates in, but yet we can't get over the hump and get above 76% of staffing. That's going to create a problem at some point. At some point. That's all I'm pointing out.
I would simply point out that you guys are the subject matter experts. And I'm not speaking for law enforcement, just simply from an administrative perspective. You guys know the facility and you know what your staffing capabilities are. So, what is what?
Russ, I've never known you not to speak out when you needed to speak out. So I want to compliment you on being as efficient as you are. and controlling the way you are. It's got to be stressful, but to me, you're doing a great job. Yeah, we don't have enough people, but I appreciate what you're doing. And I think the 3 localities, the taxpayers, appreciate what you're doing to help offset what the burden would be on the communities. So I don't want you to feel like you're being dumped on. I don't think any of this is meant that way.
Any other questions, Ross? Moving on, financial report, Steve?
$500,967.16 was received from the Compensation Board in June for May 2019 salaries and benefits reimbursement, of which $158,150.47 was for vacancy savings for May and June 2019. The contract bed rental billing for June of 2019 was Culpeper County, $80,984. Page County, $86,009.59, and Prince William County, $1,980. The total bed rental revenue for FY19, including revenue from medical, housing, commissary, and telephone fees, but excluding medical, housing, and commissary for the month of June, is $1,625,174. June marks the end of the fiscal year. Expenditures are at 100.16% used and is at 96.91 realized. The expenditures appear to be over budget as due to the refunds that were given to the member jurisdictions as a result of the cumulative true-up, showing as an expense in line item 9999 that was not budgeted. There are still some expenditures and revenues that will be received for FY19 in July.
So maybe our next meeting we can get a closeout kind of for the year fiscal year.
One other note, Mary Earhart and her team are scheduled to be on site August 1st to conduct the preliminary field work for the FY19 audit. And that's the report.
Steve, what was that number, 999? Is that on here?
It's on page, let's see.
Oh.
The refunds to member jurisdictions page, it's item 7. Mm-hmm. It's almost at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. So that's where the carryover or the revenue, the excess for the 3 jurisdictions were from last year, right?
Yeah.
So where does that go afterwards? What line does that go in after this is done?
Once the
refund?
The refunds occur?
I mean, so it would be paid straight to the county? I read it as a credit. Is it paid to the county or is it a credit? Is that what I read?
Well,
those are paid straight to the county.
Right.
Oh, so it's a so it is just paid right back. Just a check for it. Okay. Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the financial report?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Murray, second by Mr. Bass. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Item 8, corridor connector service contribution, Russ.
This will be our, I think, the 3rd year for the request for funding to help pay for the corridor connector trolley, which services 522 corridor for us to come out here to provide public transportation to inmates or anybody else trying to get to the jail. It does provide services, I believe, to Lord Fairfax and some of the shopping centers down 522 as well. The request has come to RSW based on the fact that we don't have a public transportation system for inmates that are in workforce, or excuse me, work release to get back and forth to work, or if we have releases, so they're not walking down 522. It's not the safest route to be walking to and from. So the request has come to help offset that cost that we provide $20,000 worth of funding for that service. It does not come in the 2 years previous request. What was approved by the authority is that the money would come from the funds that are generated from phone calls and things like that to help offset MA program costs. We look at this as potentially an MA program assistance because it helps them get into and from work, or once they're released from the facility to get back to town to get to services versus walking.
The inmates don't pay, they ride.
Once, you know, if we continue to fund it like we have, then their ride would be free to them if they're coming from the facility to and from work.
Already funded.
The, just FYI, so the total cost of the program is about $60,000 a year. The county puts up about a third, RSW a third, and then businesses in the corridor contribute. Valley Health's one of those. They put in $5,000 a year. That basically pays for the service, and Evan, the F&P committee, forwarded this on with the recreation. Any comments, discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the request?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Vass, second Mr. Murray. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. F&P update, of course, I was one.
You just did it.
That's all we had.
That's all I have, yeah.
Any other outstanding items or concerns from the board, staff? Hearing none, our next scheduled meeting is September 26th at 2 p.m. Please put that on your calendars. And after that, November 21 and January 23rd. With that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Go adjourn at 2:25.